The Fort Smith police officer who was shot while conducting a DWI investigation last Sunday remains in critical but stable condition. According to the department, Fort Smith police say encouraging progress has been made in the last week. The department thanks the community for their prayers, messages, and acts of kindness towards Officer Kyle Newman, his family, and his fellow officers. They ask for continued prayers as Officer Newman continues his recovery. It's been nearly 2 years since deadly tornadoes tore through Benton County, killing 8 people across the state and leaving a wake of destruction. 5 News reporter Jada Daniels is looking back at the devastation and the community effort that followed.
For those who saw the damage firsthand, the memories of May 26, 2024 are still fresh. City leaders in Rogers say the storm changed the city overnight.
It looked like a war zone.
Multiple tornadoes touched down across Benton County, knocking down hundreds of power poles, destroying homes and businesses, and killing power for almost half the city.
Living your best life, and everybody goes home, and then the storm sirens go, all your phone notifications go off, and then you wake up the next morning and you get to see the devastation.
Governor Sanders declared a state of emergency, and the Arkansas National Guard was deployed to help communities in need. Rogers Public Relations Manager Peter Massanet says some of the hardest hit areas were almost unrecognizable.
Just seeing the level of destruction to those buildings in that area, every single power pole down all along that street. It didn't look the same just because of the trees, too.
As city crews begin massive cleanup efforts, neighbors and strangers found their own ways to help.
A family that came with their minivan and pulled a table out of their minivan, set it up, and they just had snacks and drinks. And it was, if you want something, come get it.
While it took months to clear debris and restore what was lost, the city continues to focus on rebuilding.
Hundreds and hundreds of trees have been given away to folks to plant on their private property. They've also worked to replant north of Horse Barn Park. And we are just now beginning a project where we're going to be planting in right-of-ways. So there's going to be 1,600 trees planted in right-of-ways.
Massanet says the tree planting project is just one part of the city's long-term recovery effort as Rogers continues to rebuild and prepare for the future. Jada Daniels, 5 News.
Thank you, Jada. The Old Fort Days Rodeo Parade is set to kick off tomorrow in Fort Smith. The annual Memorial Day tradition will be followed by a week of rodeo events at Harper Stadium at K. Rogers Park. This will be the rodeo's 93rd year at the venue and run through Saturday. 5 News is also a sponsor of Family Night on Tuesday and Wednesday, where you can get your tickets for half price. And an Oklahoma couple drove the entire length of Route 66 all the way from Chicago to Santa Monica, California, all in a 1926 Hupmobile. The couple is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they towed in a trailer to start their journey on Route 66. With help from their traveling mechanic, the Hupmobile survived its first hiccup, and they hit the road like they did for their honeymoon 25 years ago. The couple's trek spanned more than 2,400 miles in a car as old as Route 66 itself.
The speedometer doesn't work. The odometer doesn't work. Where there's no fuel gauge.
Fuel gauge doesn't work.
And it's still in one piece.
It's running good. It's running good.
Sometimes my car feels like that. Well, during their trip, they replaced their radiator and fixed the car's motor mount twice, all without shocks to absorb bumps. New developments tonight in that major chemical leak at an aerospace facility in Orange County, California. Firefighters say they have found a potential crack in the industrial tank filled with a toxic chemical. The crack could help relieve pressure inside that tank. If authorities confirm the discovery, it could alter their response strategy, and officials could possibly scale back the evacuation area. Currently, firefighters are concerned the tank's either going to fail or it's going to explode. The tank contains roughly 7,000 gallons of methyl methacrylate. Right now, authorities have evacuated about 50,000 people living near the aerospace facility.
After last night, when we had our firefighters in there and get visualizations, we noticed a potential crack towards the top. And what that showed us was that it could not be as high pressure as we thought because of the crack. We had a reading where one of the triggers went off, so we had to abort the mission. But what we got was significant intel for us to come back and vet and validate that information on that operation we did last night.
Now, so far, no injuries have been reported, and the cause of the leak is still under investigation. But we do now know the identity of the suspect shot and killed near the White House Saturday during a confrontation with Secret Service agents. The suspect is 21-year-old Nasir Best. Previous court documents say Best had other run-ins with the Secret Service on at least 2 occasions and had mental health issues. Authorities say Saturday's incident unfolded when an individual approached a security checkpoint just outside the White House and began firing at officers. Secret Service agents returned fire and hit the suspect. The suspect was taken to and later died.
It was scary. I didn't understand what happened, and then I understand that it was shooting and they closed the White House. It's very scary.
Agency says gunfire also struck a bystander who's in critical condition. It's unclear right now if the Secret Service or the suspect was the one to hit the bystander. A peace deal may be in the works to end the war in Iran. U.S. and Iranian officials are signaling progress has been made. The White House wants to ensure the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened before any deal is finalized. As part of the framework, a source says the White House also wants to see Iran give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Since the war began, maritime traffic through this key waterway has essentially halted.
They will never possess a nuclear weapon, certainly not as long as Donald Trump is president of the United States.
If those items are not met, then it looks like the agreement might be off.
Now, before this conflict, 20% of the world's oil supply traveled through the Strait of Hormuz. It's caused a massive disruption in the world's oil supply. As of today, the national average for a gallon of regular gas was $4.52, according to AAA. Prices at the pump have gone up more than 50% since the war began.